Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Chidi Crystal and I hope you are doing well. In today's video, we are going to look at how to create a home studio on a budget. So if you're an aspiring content creator, podcaster, or just an individual who has a message to share with the world, this is the video for you. So the first thing involved in creating your home studio is choosing the right space. Now this could be a corner of the house, a tabletop, a spare room, or even a garage. However, I understand that it might not be possible to have a whole room dedicated to your home studio, especially when you are just starting out. So for this, I recommend that you get a table that is foldable, that you can use as you need. And this is very functional because you can change backgrounds with it, you can move across different rooms using that same table and create your content. And best of all, you save a lot of space because you can pack it away when you are done. So the second thing we'll talk about is equipment. We cannot have videos without equipment. It's not practical. So we are going to go into the equipment that you need for creating your home studio. The first thing we'll talk about is a camera. And there is a saying that goes, the best camera you have is the one in your hands right now. And I think this is so true when it comes to content creation, because as much as it is really, really great to have these high-end cameras, it is also helpful to start off with what you have already. I mean, we use our phones every day. We use them for making calls, for taking pictures, and doing all of these things in our day-to-day lives. So that is a great place to start if you're just starting off with content creation. Now, there are apps online that you could use, such as Open Camera on Android, that you can use to tweak your videos to make them much more valuable to you. So whilst phones are a great option when you're starting out, it is also helpful to mention the option of cameras. Now, I have a video that I will link up here and in the description box as well on my first ever camera after 10 years. That was a Canon T2i. And I think that camera is a great option if you do not mind the fact that it does not have a vari-angle tilting screen. That camera was really affordable and I used it for 10 years. So it allowed me learn so much about learning how to make videos, especially photography at the time when I was starting out. So I think that camera is something to start off with if that is something you would be interested in. There are also other great options that might not be as budget friendly as a T2i, but I recommended the T2i because it is literally going for about 100 to 150 pounds currently used. But these other cameras, brand new cameras, mirrorless cameras, are really great as well. Best of all, most of them have 4K, which is an incredible range to have when filming. So I will link all of the cameras that I recommend down below, and these are affiliate links, so you can have a look at them, read the reviews, and see if they are cameras that will appeal to you. So here are a few things I would like to recommend when getting your first camera. If you've decided to take the plunge and go for a big camera for your channel or for your home studio, you want to get a camera that probably has a vari-angle screen. And I think this is helpful because if you are filming in a really small space, it is helpful to see yourself as you film. Now, it's not set in stone. This is not a deal breaker. You can still create incredible videos with cameras without this. But as someone who has used cameras without this and now using a camera with this, I think it's really helpful to have a camera with a vari-angle screen. It saves me a lot of stress from having to stand up each time to go back to adjust things because I can't see myself from the camera's LCD screen. So I think it's really helpful to get that. Second option when it comes to cameras is to look at used cameras. And I get it, brand new feels really good. And if you can afford it, then go for it. But if it's something you're still trying out and you want to see how you will fare in creating content, I think used cameras are a great place to start. I will also link two websites that you can get used gear at an affordable rate, and they are trusted websites as well. So yes, you want to look at the used camera options. However, I will also link the video below of a creator who has created an incredible video on how to look out for the best used camera options for your needs. Because if we go into that right now, that is a whole new video of its own. However, I think it's helpful to have a look at the websites and have a look at the reviews of people who have used these cameras, who have purchased them, brand new or used. Have a look at Reddit, Quora, and just have an extensive view of what you are getting. This will help you make the right choice for your needs. The next thing I'll mention is to look at the resolution of the camera you are buying. Now, personally, I think 1080p is a great resolution to still use even in 2023. Now, a lot of cameras these days have 4K and 8K, and these are incredible ranges, but it's not set in stone, and I am currently filming this on 1080p. I think it works as well, and I think a lot of cameras, especially DSLRs, still have 1080p and it's functional. So don't get fixated on getting a 4K camera if it's something probably out of your budget at the time and think that you can't create videos without having 4K. So let's look at the next thing when it comes to the equipment you need. You need a tripod. And a tripod is a device that you place your cameras on, or you place your phones on, that are sturdy enough to hold these phones at a stable condition, and then you can film. So there are a lot of options out there, but here is the thing. I have found that even the Amazon options are great as well. I have had one, even though I currently use a Manfrotto, but that Amazon tripod has been faithful for a couple of years now, and it works. It's affordable and it works. Now, of course, if your camera or your gear is higher end or heavier, you do need to invest in a heavier tripod. I will link these two tripods below so you can have a look at them and read the reviews and make your decision regarding the tripod that you want. But the tripod is really helpful to avoid shaky and blurry footage when filming. So the next thing we will talk about is our microphone. Now, it is said that a bad video with great audio is easier to watch than a great video with bad audio, and I agree with that. Now, this is not an audio lesson, so we might not go extensive into creating the best audio that you need, but there are a lot of tutorials out there that will show you what to do, especially when it comes to the software of choice, which we will talk about next, and you can figure out how to get your audio sounding good. But it's important to have a good microphone. And there are also really budget-friendly options out there. I will link some of them below that you can use for your audio. Currently, the one I am using, talking to you right now, is this Boya microphone. It's a lapel microphone and it's a clip-on mic. And it works for me. I plug it into the camera and I talk into the camera. Now, occasionally, especially if you're doing podcasts, you might want to have a standalone microphone. These are great. They are better quality. They are standalone microphones and they work incredibly well. So you can choose or oscillate between these two when you're making your decision. If your videos are going to just be talking head videos and you want to start on a budget, the Boya microphone, which I will link below, is incredible. At the time I bought it, was about £20, and I think it's still around that range currently. So it's a great choice if you're starting out. It's budget friendly. Now, I wouldn't say it's the greatest audio in the world, but it works and you can talk into the camera without all of the background noise overwhelming the video. So I think it's an incredible choice to use. So the next thing I'll talk about is your editor of choice. Now, we will talk about two types of editors. We have the video editing and the audio editing. Now, the audio software that I will recommend is called Audacity. This is an open source software and I recommend this because I have used it for many years. It's very user-friendly, it's beginner-friendly, and most of all, it's open source, so it's free. So it's something that will fit right within the budget that you are creating that home studio with. So Audacity is really easy to use. It's something that has a software that has a lot of tutorials online. People have created really helpful tutorials to navigate, to help you navigate Audacity. And so you can get started with Audacity. You can record right into your laptop on Audacity, and then with your video editor, you can sync the audio and the video. So let's go over to the video editor. There are a lot of options out there, and I will give you the budget-friendly options, but I'll also give you the ones that if you stretch your budget just a bit, you can also decide to invest in. Now, you have softwares like CapCut, you have the KineMaster, you have a couple of softwares, Movavi, that are online, that are free. So these are softwares that will help you get started, especially if you want to see what editing is like, what putting your videos together is like. I think these are really great options to use. And yes, they may not have all of the tools you would need if you were going higher end, but you're getting started and they're free. So what's not to love? So I think these are great options. So the next options I will mention will be the paid softwares. Now, these are great options for someone who's willing to maybe stretch their budget just a bit, or you want to actually get started sort of full time with this. You don't want to experiment with these beginner friendly ones and then have to relearn these softwares. And it's valid. Sometimes you want to start with things and you don't want to have to sort of have different learning curves. So that's great. So the first I will mention will be Filmora Pro. This is very user friendly. It's affordable as well. It has an annual subscription, a monthly subscription, and I think a lifetime purchase option. And this is incredible to use. I would also mention Adobe Premiere Pro. It's also an incredible software, a bit of a learning curve, but you will get it when you watch tutorials from practice. Then we will go over to Final Cut Pro, which is an also incredible option to use. These are just a few that I've mentioned, but there are options out there that can help you get started when it comes to editing your own videos. Of course, there are video editors out there that you could hire at a really fair rate to get your videos sorted. But if you're starting out and you're looking at your budget, then it's also recommended that you sort of look at these options for yourself to see how you get on with it. So I will not fail to mention some of the free softwares that I didn't mention earlier that are actually really incredible, but you do need to do some learning. DaVinci Resolve is one of them. It's free to use, but it's really, really extensive. It's packed. It's a software that you won't believe it's free, but you do need to do some learning. But if you do get it, it's just incredible, DaVinci Resolve. So these are incredible options. You can look at the specifications of your laptop versus the software and just make the right choice for your needs. So that is it for the softwares that you need. So the next thing we will talk about when it comes to equipment is lighting. Now, lighting is key for a professional and polished look to your videos. If you are just starting out, we have the one that nature has given us, natural lighting. If you're in an environment or an area where you get a lot of natural light, then natural light is incredible to use. However, if you're in an environment where natural light is not an option, then you would need to invest in some sort of extra lighting material to give your videos a much more polished look. Now, there are a couple of LED light options out there and soft boxes and ring lights that will give your video the professional look that you need, especially when you are just starting out. Now, if we go into lighting, then I will always say that it's a different topic because there are different lights that you will need for different situations and placements and all of that. But I will say that when you're starting out, you just need that room to be well lit. So I will link some soft boxes and ring lights that I have used that I think are really, really incredible to also try out. And you can just explore, read the reviews as always, and see if that works for you. But yes, lighting is very important for your videos. In fact, I'm going to show you something now. I will turn off my lights. And this is the video without light in the background. Now I could decide to turn on the room light. And this is the video with my room light. Now, if you do not have an option, I can understand. This could work in some cases. But if you are looking for that professional look, you want to add an additional touch to your videos, this is not going to cut it. So let's go back to what we had before. So as you can see, lighting is really important for your videos. You can choose to get away without them, but you sort of need them. So yeah, I think that is something that you need to really consider if you're setting up a budget home studio. The next thing we'll talk about will be our backdrops. Now, there are a lot of options out there with stands that you can set up and film that are clean and polished and professional looking. However, when you are starting out on a budget, you might not have that luxury of buying these backdrops. So we'll use the backdrops we already have. However, it's important to keep in mind that your backdrop should be clean and clutter-free. Now, everyone must not have a minimalistic backdrop, so it doesn't mean that you must have to film in front of a white wall with no decor on it. Instead, you want to be intentional about what you have in your backdrop. So what's your personal style? What message you want to convey to your viewers? So you can explore things like picture frames, flowers, decorative items, shelves, and just things that will add some extra dimension, some 3D look to that video. But if you do not have any of those things, then by all means, you can always go for a clean look, which is a plain white or black or brown or gray background, and that works as well. It's just really nice to see videos have some extra quality to them that just makes it visually appealing when watching. So you have to research, go on Pinterest, look at images and see what appeals to your personal style, because at the end of the day, you are the one creating this. And whilst it's important to get inspiration as much as you can, you still want to be true to yourself and look for things that speak your message to your audience. So I hope that is helpful as well. So guys, those are the list of equipments that you will need to set up your home studio on a budget. Now I'm going to share some tips that will make this setup easier for you. So first, start simple. I get it. Sometimes the pressure is there. You want to get the best thing in the market before you start. But like I said earlier, you can absolutely start with what you have right now. And then you can upgrade as you go. And as you progress and as you see your work, you can decide to upgrade at that point. So start simple. The next tip is soundproofing. So if you're in a very noisy environment, it's important to have some soundproofing to your room. Now this could be done by getting acoustic panels on the wall, but we are on a budget here, so we will do this by having rugs on the floor. We will have some really soft duvets around, and this will help absorb that extra noise. So if we do decide to upgrade, we could decide to get something like a dynamic microphone, which will not be as sensitive as a condenser microphone when it comes to picking up all the background noise. So these are things that you can look at as you go along. But start off with duvets, lots of pillows, lots of blankets all over the floor, on the table, just around the room where you film. This will help absorb all of that external noise. So the next tip is to learn your equipment. Now remember, this is your dream. This is something you are passionate about. This is a message you have to share with the world. And as much as any other person can help you, you will be the person to run this ship. You are the captain of the ship. So you need to learn the equipment you're working with. You need to learn how it works. If it's a phone you're using to film, you need to learn the best settings for your phone. You need to learn what works the best in your particular room. You need to learn what works the best with the style that you are going for. Or if it's a software you're using, you want to learn that software as well. So content creating or having a home studio is not just about setting up gear and just talking to the camera. You need to research, you need to read up forums, read up people's experiences using your gear, read up, troubleshooting and things like that, so that if you run into a problem when you're filming, you have an arsenal of knowledge that you can easily use in your situation. So you need to learn your equipment, learn your gear, learn your lighting, learn options that you have if things fail when you're filming, and just learn. So the next tip I will share with you is to plan your content. Now, when you're starting out, I get it. It can be quite intimidating to remember your lines, to remember the things you had in mind to say. And even though this is an inanimate object, it can feel like a whole room, a whole crowd of people. But you need to remember that it is just you and that camera in that room. And so you can do it. So plan your content, and that way you feel a bit more confident. And if you do forget one or two lines, you look at your piece of paper or your laptop and you remember, or you refresh your memory and just continue filming. So plan your content. Well, that's it for today's video on setting up your home studio. Remember that when you are starting out on this journey, it can seem daunting at first. It's easy to feel discouraged at first, but remember that this is you sharing your journey and your message with the world. And so I want you to have fun creating. I want you to enjoy the creative process. And I want you to understand that this is a journey that you are embarking on, and you are going to figure it out as you go. There are lots of tutorials online that you can find help from when you are stuck or when you need extra information on something that you're trying to work out. So don't get discouraged as you film. Don't compare yourself to people. Don't compare your beginning with someone else's middle. Just don't compare. Just stick to your message, your unique perspective, and the message that you have to share with the world. And I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I had so much fun creating it and sharing it with you. So thank you so much for being here. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel for more creative content like this. Thank you for being here once again, and I will see you in my next video.